This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Do you ever have a story that you just can't get out of your head?
One that you play the details of over and over with your friends?
Well, you've come to the right place. I'm Claire.
And I'm Susan.
And this is Justice Pending,
a weekly true crime podcast where we discuss tantalizing crimes with more questions than answers.
On the night of March 2nd, 2023, a 26-year-old mother sent a text to her sister. It almost sounded like a joke.
She said she was, quote, getting into a random truck with some cowboys and hoped they would, quote, take her on a ride.
That text would become the last confirmed communication she ever sent.
2 years later, her family is still asking the same question. Where did Sara go?
Welcome back to another episode of Justice Pending. I'm Claire.
And I'm Susan. And today we're talking about the disappearance of Sara Gail Ebersole.
So, who was Sara? She was 26 years old when she disappeared. She was the youngest of 7 children, born in Michigan and raised largely in Florida by her aunt and uncle.
She was also a mother, a daughter, a sister, someone who loved the beach, loved animals, and had a dream of one day opening a small cat-friendly cafe near the water.
I mean, it just sounds like a real kind of whimsical idea, right? Like just a harmless, fun kind of person.
She had a goal. She had a dream.
Yeah.
At the time of her disappearance, though, Sara lived with a roommate in Marion County and was working as a dancer at a well-known place near Interstate 75.
So Sara had a daughter who lived mostly with her father, but those who knew Sara say she was deeply involved in her child's life. Friends and family describe Sara as playful, curious, adventurous, someone who liked to try new things and lived with a kind of youthful optimism.
Yeah, I mean, she was young, but
yeah.
There's certainly a mindset there. But let's get into some really haunting text messages. So it's March 2nd of 2023. And earlier that evening, Sara texted her sister, Michelle, asking for a ride home from work. But Michelle couldn't swing it. She couldn't pick her up.
Yeah, so Sara sends her sister another message about 7:50 p.m. saying, hey, be sure to say hi to your kids, right? For me. Like just a sweet kind of sister thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then at 10:11, so, a little less than 3 hours later, she sent the text that would change everything. And it's the one we've already referred to. She says, I'm getting into a random truck with some cowboys. Hope they take me on a ride.
I mean, it sounds lighthearted. Like it sounds almost like the kind of thing that you have to think she had some type of intuition because she sends that text message. It's a timestamp. It's something to say, I'm doing something with people I don't know. And like, I'm just kind of giving you a heads up, like something. She did it in a lighthearted way, but obviously it turns out to be very serious.
Yeah. It also to me sounds like, her current line of work does put her maybe in the realm of some unsavory character types. So she must have had a thick skin, I'll say. She must have known, she could take care of herself, that kind of thing. To me, it sounds like that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. And sort of confirming this, of your own volition and will, there is security footage of her captured at a Circle K convenience store, on North Highway 441 in Reddick, Florida, around 10 p.m. So, she did get into a random truck with some random cowboys.
Yeah, police say it wasn't forced. It didn't look rushed or violent. Like she chose to leave with them.
Yeah, but that truck, it was a black pickup truck, and 2 unknown men.
Yeah.
That would be the first step in a trail that eventually went cold, then confusing, and then deeply troubling.
So investigators were able to determine that Sara was dropped off at a subdivided residence on North Highway 441 in Reddick. They're calling it like the Reddick house, right? So she gets in the car with these random cowboys, the truck rather, and she's dropped off at this house. And, she goes inside this residence. There are multiple people there. One of them is James Robinson. That's the person that's named. There are two other people, like his roommates, who lived in the other half of the home. And according to all three witnesses, like, they spent several hours socializing with Sara, and nothing untoward happened. It wasn't violent. There wasn't a fight. This was just like hanging out.
Yeah. I mean, and so, you want to point fingers at the random cowboys in the random truck, but it doesn't appear that anything happens with them except a good time. They didn't take her on a ride. And then, residents told investigators that they saw Sara leave between 3 and 5 a.m. And they believe, that this was her calling an Uber home because it was a newer model blue sedan. They thought possibly a Hyundai. They said the driver was a Hispanic male in his mid-30s with long dark hair. And they thought it was an Uber that she had called.
Yeah. So the fact that it's not the same black truck is interesting to me, because that was one possibility just in my like crime solving head where I'm like, well, they knew where they dropped her off, so maybe they came and picked her back up again. Right. But apparently it's a completely different car, and this is not, there's no known connection. But investigators were able to confirm something crucial. Sara didn't order an Uber that night.
Yeah, so that means one of two things. Either she left with a third party off the books, like how sometimes drivers will give you their personal card and say, they don't want to share the revenue with the booking.
Yep.
Or with the app holder, so either that, and it was technically, that someone would call an Uber, but not an Uber, like a off the books Uber, or that the Uber story was totally fabricated and something did happen there.
Yeah, because we don't know. We don't have any other evidence of this alleged pickup besides these three people saying that she got into this mystery car with this mystery man.
That's right.
So we really don't know if it happened or not. It's undocumented. So that's kind of where the trail goes cold. So it takes a year later, after Sara has disappeared, that investigators name a person of interest. And that name is Tyrone Mormon, 28-year-old man. Yeah.
So again, this, some of our other cases are set decades earlier, and we don't have access to text messages here. We're sort of modern day, not sort of, we are modern day. And so we get text messages that reveal shortly after midnight, Robinson began messaging Mormon, telling him that Sara was hanging out at his house, and Mormon expressed interest in spending time with her.
Yeah. So this is, James Robinson was the friend that she knew at this house. And so they were able to get his cell phone records and see that he had this connection to this Tyrone Mormon. And allegedly, Tyrone Mormon is the one who drives a blue Hyundai Sonata, right? So around 4 a.m., he leaves with Sara in the car. This is this new piece of information that, people didn't have when she first disappeared.
Yeah, this is the Uber story coming
right.
into with the spotlight shown on it now. Yeah. So, of course, not of course, but he doesn't come forward with this information himself initially. So Mormon initially tells detectives that he was out of town that day. He's never met Sara. Sara who? He had no contact with her. But witnesses absolutely refute that. And text messages absolutely refute that.
Yeah, and the fact that he does drive a car that fits the description that they gave over a year ago. I
Mhm.
mean, this is all adding up. So, when investigators sought a warrant for Mormon's phone, he claimed he had broken it and thrown it away, which,
Yeah.
that's certainly seen that one before. Oh, you want my phone? I don't have it. I lost it, right? I threw it away. I broke it. So, the thing about cell phones is they can be tracked. So eventually they realized this phone still exists and he had to turn it over to police.
Yes. And that was when he was arrested in December of 2023 for providing false information to law enforcement.
Yeah, so data from the phone suggested that Tyrone and Sarah were together at a 24-hour convenience store in Northwest Marion County in the early morning hours of March 3rd. But after that, there was nothing.
Yeah, and Mormon has since declined to speak with detectives. So he is currently out on bond for the obstruction charge, but he has yet to be charged in Sarah's disappearance.
Yeah, so investigators say that Sarah's normal pattern of life stopped entirely on March 3rd, 2023. She no longer has phone activity, bank activity, social media, no contact with family or friends. I mean, she's not trying to get her daughter. I mean, this is
Yeah. Yeah.
something terrible has happened to her. Like there's no way Sarah is okay at this point.
That's right. They also found, she might have been shoeless or barefoot.
Yeah.
Shoes were found inside the home. Her cigarettes and lighter were left on the porch. No signs of a struggle. It was sort of like she just vanished mid-sentence.
Yeah. Yeah. And her sister, Michelle, she has become the heartbeat of this case. She will not let Sarah be forgotten. She's organizing demonstrations. She's, renting billboards. She's putting updates on social media. She carries a sign that says Sara Ebersole matters.
Oh, she's the Cassie to Lauren DeMolo. I mean, this is
Yeah.
it's so important that the family continues this because we just move on. The media moves on. I mean, society forgets. And unless you have someone holding a sign from time to time or always, you have to keep it top of mind for people, for investigators, for media. I think at least her sister believes investigators are actually focusing on the wrong person or just at least not the full picture. Obviously, what she wants to know most is where her sister is.
Yeah. I mean, the community just won't let this go. Like they are continuing to ask questions. Her family misses her and people are showing up, to stand beside her sister Michelle, holding Sarah's photo. It's really touching, that people are joining this effort to keep Sarah's case alive.
It is. And there's actually a $35,000 reward for information leading to her whereabouts. So that also maybe is enticing for somebody, because somewhere between that Circle K and the sunrise, something happened and someone knows what happened.
Yes. If you have information about Sarah's disappearance, even something that feels small, contact Detective Ryan Stith at 352-368-3542, or you can call Crime Stoppers and reference case 23-71.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Justice Pending, and we'll be back next week with an all-new case.
Justice Pending is recorded in Dallas, Texas for Rebel Studios. It's hosted by me, Claire Sanama, and Susan Passoni. Our theme music is Bending Truth, licensed at premiumbeat.com. We appreciate all listener feedback. Leave a review wherever you're listening right now, and we might read it on the air. Thanks for joining us.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.